Good morning, everybody. My name is Kamil Torczewski, and I have a big pleasure to invite you to join in a serious big change. We always require the teamwork, and effective team working is one of the key elements of your potential success. Does actually something like the perfect team actually exist? This is the fundamental question. I would like to discuss with you also a question: do we really need a team, or do we always need a team? I'm curious, what is your opinion on this? Also, I would like to discuss with you the key characteristics of a team, not necessarily the ideal team, the perfect team, but the team itself. What is the difference between the team and the work group? Also, some elements related to how to select the team members. I don't know whether your teams are actually formed, or maybe you are in the process of team creation, or maybe you can invite anybody new to the team, but I would like to share with you some of my experiences related to how to select the team members. Briefly, also, I will describe the team lifecycle, which is very useful for every single team leader. And also at the end, I would like to shortly discuss with you and share with you some experiences related to what kind of traps and dangers are waiting for you while you're running the team. My name is Kamil Torczewski. Currently, I am a CEO of the White Raven Academy, which is training and consulting company, one of the leading companies in Poland when it comes to Six Sigma training and Lean training. So I have spent almost all my professional career working as a Six Sigma trainer and consultant. I've been supporting many companies, usually big international corporations, and also worked as a top manager, currently a CEO. And through all these years, I have had the chance to see a lot of different teams in different environments. And years by years, I've been working with the different teams, supporting the teams in the problem-solving processes, in improving processes, and also I've been working with team leaders. And I've been helping them to better conduct the teams. What I'm going to do is just to share with you some hints, some tips, some main, let's say, ideas behind the concept of team working, to give you not the complementary full knowledge about what is team working and how to organize it from the A to Z, but rather to give you some kind of inspiration, some kind of questions to think about, and to try to improve the quality of your team and the effectiveness of your team. Okay, before we start, let me ask you some basic question. And the question is, does anything like a perfect team actually exist? And the second question for you is, I would like you to think for a while, like 30 or 50 seconds maybe. Think for a while and try to recall the best team you have ever had a chance to be a part of. It could be any kind of a team you remember, but try to remember what was your best experience when it comes to the team working. So please think here for a while, think about it, try to recall the best team you have ever had a chance to be a part of. Maybe you are a leader of the team, doesn't matter, but please think about your best team working experience you have had in your life. Why this team was, in your opinion, the best team? Okay, guys, hope you are finished. So, I'm asking these questions many times. I ask this question many times when I work with managers, with top managers, and I ask them what is their best team experience, team working experience. Give them time and wait for the answers. And you know what is funny? That when they came back with the answers after the 30 or 50 seconds, almost nobody says about teams related to the work area. That's very interesting because, in every single company, especially when it comes to the big companies, big corporations, the companies are spending millions of dollars year by year to develop the team working skills. And every single manager has been trained many times in the topics like team working, team building, team motivation, leadership, etc., etc. What is more, when you recruit the people to the company, usually one of the main critical conditions is ability to be a part of the team. So a lot of effort in business is put into the team working skills. But what is interesting, when you ask people, where is your perfect team? People almost never ever answer that the best team is a team from their job. So that's funny. And the question is why it is like that. Why we invest a lot of money in developing the team working skills in business, and then when we ask people what is your best team working experience, they're usually telling about a sport team or a music band or a choir or anything like that. Do you have any ideas? From my perspective and from my experience, the situation is like that because what we have usually in a business environment is most often even not a perfect team. It's actually even not a team, it's a work group. I don't know if you recognize the difference between the team and the work group. Think for a while about it. First, let me define the work group. Work group is something which is very common. Work group is just a group of people who are doing the same thing or a similar thing. What is the team, on the other hand? First of all, the team, you can talk about a team when it comes to the small group of people. This is very important because quite often you can hear in media or in the presentation then group of experts, of 200 experts are working on something. There is no something like a team of 200 people. You can only experience the team dynamics, team leadership, and all these things related to team in a small group of people. So my first advice would be, if you are creating a team, try to create a team as small as possible, but on the other hand, big enough to have all necessary skills and expertise which is needed to conduct the project. What doesn't mean small group of people? Usually people try to include, like 8, 10, 12 people sometimes, but it only looks good on the presentation. But when it comes to real life, to real work, such a big team usually doesn't work. So my recommendation will be to try to keep the number of people like 5, 6, maybe 7. We used to say that 8 or 9, it's a kind of a roof. And when you are going more, like 10, 11, 12, conducting the team becomes really, really difficult. So it is much better to have a smaller group of people, but acting much more effectively than to have a big group of people and also experience the situation in which there is no even single meeting of a team on which everybody is present, because just such a simple thing like team logistics, meetings, transferring the information, working together, it becomes very difficult when the team grows. So first of all, the team is a team only when it is a small group of people. The second parameter, the team, it's a group of people dedicated to accomplish the same goal. And think for a while which word is the most important in this sentence: dedicated to accomplish the same goal. Some people say the goal is more important, the most important. Some people say the same is the most important. Some people say accomplish is the most important word, but actually the most important goal is dedicated. So the team is only a team when people are really dedicated to accomplish the project goal. How to make people dedicated? This could be a topic of a separate webinar, but you should think about every single person as an individual and try to identify what kind of the benefits every single person can achieve while working within the team. Because it's very difficult, and it's a big mistake from my perspective, when people are trying to engage, trying to find the motivators, the factors that will influence all the team members. Because everybody is different, and the team is a group of people with sometimes different needs, different perspectives, different experience, different backgrounds. So what motivates me could demotivate you. So you should spend a while and look at every single person in your team and think about as the question, so what kind of benefit could drive this person to be dedicated to accomplish the same goal? Okay, so the next parameter of a team is having complementary skills. One of the biggest mistakes is the mistake of hiring or inviting to the team the best experts on the particular topic. Because if I have to run the project which solves the very difficult problem, and I am a leader, and I'm a little bit afraid of this because the problem is very serious, nobody knows how to do, I need to create a team. So in the first term, I usually invite to the team only the experts, the best experts of the subject. And this is wrong, because the only effective way of creating a team is to create some kind of a mixture. Your best team experience, I asked you at the beginning of this webinar. Try to think about it. Was this team really a team of different people, with different skills, different attitudes? I'm sure yes. This is true also in sport. When it comes to soccer, to cricket, to any team sport, please think about it, how to create a mixture of different skills to let the team be effective and be fast. The next point, sharing responsibility, and altogether with this, jointly accountable for the combined result. What does it mean? It means that the key characteristic of a team is that both positive results of what you are doing and negative results of what you are doing are shared by all team members. So what does it mean? It means that if you are sailing the boat with a team and somebody did a mistake and you fall into the water, you all fall into the water, not only the person who made a mistake. So this shared responsibility and being jointly accountable is critical to think about, to create an organism you will be able to call as a team. So when you look at these 5 points, they look very simple, but actually they're simple, but they're not easy to achieve. And please think about these best team experiences in your life you had and ask these 5 questions. Was it a really small group of people? I'm sure it was, like a few people. Was these people dedicated to accomplish the same goal? I'm sure yes. I'm sure that your best teams have complementary skills and shared responsibility, and they are jointly accountable for the combined results. So guys, to summarize this introduction, it could be a very long discussion on how to create the best team in the world. My recommendation is not even try to create the best team in the world, but first try to create a group of people you will be able to call truly a team. And it will be, believe me, even more than enough for your project. I'd love to briefly, shortly discuss with you some basic criteria for selecting team members when you are creating your Hult Prize competition team. So, first of all, I would strongly recommend you to consider the willingness, the eager to participate of the potential team member. Because from my perspective and from my experience, I've seen many cases in which, leaders were inviting to the team very good people, very highly skilled soldiers, let's say, but they were so busy or they were so, not interested. They say, yes, okay, I can join, we can do this, but there's no the real fire inside to be a part of this particular team. So first of all, I would strongly recommend you to think about, is this person really want to join our team? What kind of benefits this person could see for himself or herself? So if we move back, here you have a second point dedicated to accomplish the same goal. This is one of the most important elements, but also one of the most difficult ones. So if you have a team member who wants to participate, who is actually at the beginning very dedicated, please consider this person strongly. Okay. So the second point, availability. You can have really perfect team members with perfect skills that want to participate, but if they are not available for you, available for meetings, communication, doing some work, etc., you will start to create some kind of a science fiction, not the real team. So please strongly consider what is the availability of these particular team members. This is very important thing. And it's much better to have, let's say, less experienced person, or maybe less skilled person at all, but who is available and who is willing to join you. Probably there could be an idea to gather the best experts on these particular subjects. And the criteria for selecting the team member as a specific knowledge should be considered as a criteria to differentiate. So I strongly advise you to differentiate the team members using the criteria of specific knowledge. What I'm going to say is that you don't want to have only the best experts in the world on the particular topic within your team. So if you are working on a particular topic, please find out who is the best expert and try to engage the expert. But also try to find out a person who is somehow related to the main topic, but is not an expert. And also it is good to have people on board which are completely outside of the topic and which are on the opposite side of the expert role. So this kind of mixture will strongly improve your effectiveness as a team, especially when it comes to idea generation, to looking for some new solutions, new points of view. One of the worst things you can do is using the criteria of specific knowledge, gather only the best experts in a particular area. It won't be a team, it will be just work group of experts. Decide attributes of personality. One of the biggest mistakes, let's say, that managers and team leaders are making very often is that they are looking for the skills and forgetting about the attributes of personality. So what kind of a person do you need in the team? What kind of people are you actually having in your team? So don't look only on the experience or the hard data, but try to look also on the soft skills of the mental attitude. Is anybody optimistic or the pessimistic person? Is somebody who is very detailed oriented, or maybe he or she is very looking from the very high perspective. So the more you mix these different attributes of personality, the better will be the team. And the last element, the last part, experience. Especially consider experience in working in this kind of a team, because competing in a Hult Prize, conducting the projects will be something very difficult. And if you have a chance to work with people who had some experiences related to this type of projects, it will be definitely very helpful for the whole team and very useful for the whole team. But to summarize, I would advise you to remember, first try to ask what do you need? What kind of skills do you need? What kind of the attitude do you need? What kind of the person do you need? And then ask who is able to deliver this to your team. Most often, people, also top managers, ask these questions in the opposite way. So first of all, they ask who will join, who can join, and then try to think about, okay, so what you can do in the team. I will advise you to ask this question in the opposite way. And one short advice also. The best team I've seen was always the team which the very strong brand. If you look on the sport, different sports, if you look on the military, if you look on the business, every time you will find that the best teams has got a very strong brand, like Navy SEALs Team 6, very famous special operators, the elite of the elites. They have a very strong brand. Also, all of these, team sports team have very serious, very strong brand. And my advice is, if you want to create a really strong team, if you want to be a part of the very nice, good team, effective team, think about it, how to name it, how to brand it. You can create a logo for your team. You can create some kind of identity of your team, and you can create some values of the team. The strongest brand you create for your team, the biggest chance the people will stay with you, the people will be loyal, and the people will be more engaged. So think about it. Just short advice. And the last question when it comes to team members, to selecting team members, is the question which seems obvious, but not for all. Actually, who is the leader of your team? Do you have a leader? If not, you have to know who is the leader of your team. Not necessarily you will know it from the very beginning. Sometimes you will know it after first, second, or third meeting, but there is a point in your team life cycle that you need to decide, and you need to say it loudly, who is the leader of the team, and who is, the person who decide about, important elements related to how you organize your work. So it is good to know. Think about it. Now, I would like to very briefly tell you about some basics of team dynamics, which means very simple process of team forming, storming, norming, performing. I don't know, have you ever heard about it before, but it's quite simple concept, and it is very useful when it comes to managing the team. So it's all about the stages through which the team is going through the team's life cycle. And the first stage is stage of forming. It's very easy to recognize the stage of forming. You can observe it in many situations in life. For example, when you first meet with a girl, or when the group of people who needs to work together meet together for the first time. Usually, you can see the following behaviors. What does it mean? At this stage, people usually are very polite, are very gentle. You are doing some kind of research. You're looking at every single person. Who is it? Okay, what can I do? How can I feel? People are uncertain on the rules. People are very gentle, very polite, sometimes over polite, sometimes very, curious, but it's a kind of making a research. Where am I? Who are these people? What is going on here? So this is the stage of forming. Group is forming. Then when the forming ends, people in the group go straight into the storming behavior. So if you know who is who, if you know what is going on, then people sometimes trying to be competitive, trying to take team's attention, trying to fight for their rules and responsibilities. So it's a kind of a quarrel sometimes. And then there are two options: the team collapse, and the project is finished because of the fact that storming was too serious, or to go forward, you need to start to norm your behaviors. Okay, so you decide who is the leader, what are the responsibilities, what are the rules of the team meeting, how we are doing the job, how we are communicating, what are the rules. So you need to norm your behaviors. And after norming the behaviors, there is a final stage of the team's life cycle, which is performing. And actually, this is the stage of the team life cycle in which you are actually starting to doing your job in the most effective way. And that's a very easy concept, very easy to remember. Forming, storming, norming, performing, and how you can make use of this. First of all, remember, the role of the leader is, actually, it could be a question for you. What should be the role of the leader when it comes to this four-stage process? What is the main goal of the leader? What do you think? If you have an idea, write it down. The answer is, the role of the leader, of a good team leader, is to lead the team as quickly as possible to the performing stage. And also, remember, if you are running the first meeting and everybody is very gentle, everybody is very polite, the meeting is very smooth. So be aware that it's not because that you've got such a beautiful and gentle people in the team. It's because your team is actually in the forming stage. And then when on the second or the third or the fourth meeting, people start to fight each other and discuss very loudly, be aware that it's not because you gathered such fighting people. It's because just the team entered the storming phase. Then to move forward, you need to, as quickly as possible, try to create some norms, some rules, some basic ways of how we are doing things, and then lead people to the performing stage. To summarize, guys, teams are great, of course, but there are some bad sides or dark sides of working as a team. I don't know what are your experiences, but when you are acting as a team and making decisions as a team, and you share responsibility, be aware to not allow your team to make a really stupid decision. There are some serious research that shows that, for example, the level of risk which people are able to take when they are acting as a team is much higher than the level of risk each individual is able to take when he or she acts as a single person. So this is the first danger. Be aware of not making stupid team decisions, especially, and this is the second point from my side. People sometimes are very happy, very satisfied that we have such a good team. Everything goes smooth. There is no discussion. We have a very strong leader. Every time we agreed with everybody, and we think the same way. And it looks nice, but actually this is the best way to make stupid decisions, because what you need actually in the team, you need some kind of a friction. You need some kind of a discussion. You need to some kind of a, not necessarily being always on the same side, always say yes. So be aware that the more discussion in your team, the more different points of view, the more constructive discussion and sometimes constructive criticism, the better. My goal for today was to give you just short insights, some inspiration. And at the end, I would like to give you some homework. Some homework which, in my opinion, could be very valuable for you. And these are just some simple questions. And I don't need you to send me the answers, but I'll strongly convince you to think about it. Think about these questions and try to discuss the answers. And the questions are as follows. Do you know what is the goal of your team? If yes, please write down goal of your team and share this goal with all of the team members. Discuss it. You have to be sure that all of you know what is the goal of your team. The second question, do you know why particular people are in your team? Is it clear for you? If not, please make it clear. So decide why this person is in the team. What kind of the input this person is delivering to the team? So make it clear. The next question, what will be the contribution of every team member to the team? What kind of skills, knowledge, and experiences? Also, if you are not aware of this, try to think about it for a while. Think about every single team member and think about what kind of skills, what kind of knowledge, what kind of experience this person can deliver to the teamwork. The next question, please think about how are you going to take care about team communication? It's very good to clarify it at the very beginning. So how are you going to communicate? How are you going to share information? What kind of different tools are you going to use? Nowadays there's plenty of them, but make these decisions, make some experiments, and try to set up the communication rules at the very beginning. You will find it very useful. The next question, how are you going to make important decisions in the team? Actually, this is one of the first important decisions you need to make. I mean, how you will make decisions. Probably you will face many times very difficult situations in which you will not agree with each other, hopefully. And then you will need to make a decision. There are many different ways to making these decisions. And my recommendation is decide on the very beginning, how are you going to make decisions during the project work. And the last two, what is the name of your team? Do you have a kind of a name, or maybe do you have a brand of your team? Do you have any ideas about how this could look like? What kind of a brand you can create? And the last question, why it is the best team in the world? Please answer these questions. I keep my fingers crossed for your project work and hope to see you on the next webinar. Okay, goodbye. All the best.